Okay, so we did what are the two square roots of 100, and now we're going to do what are the two square roots of 25 over 64. So remember when we spoke before about square roots, and we talked about the square root of a fraction. So we have 25 over 64. So if I want the square root of this entire fraction, I could ask myself, what fraction times itself 2 times equals 25 over 64? When we multiply fractions, we multiply straight across. So what number times itself 2 times is 25? That would be 5. And what number times itself 2 times is 64? That would be 5/8. So the square root of 25 over 64 is 5 over 8, but as we know, every square number has 2 square roots, so it would be plus or minus 5 over 8. And lastly, we're going to subtract these two. 3.64 times 10 to the 4th minus 2.98 times 10 to the 3rd. So 3.64 times 10 to the 4th minus 2.98 times 10 to the 3rd. Okay. Again, when we add and subtract numbers written in scientific notation, our exponents have to be the same. So what we're going to do is either make this a 3 or make this a 4. Well, just for fun, let's make this one a 4. Remember, this number has to equal this number. So since this got 10 times bigger, this is going to have to get 10 times smaller. So I'm going to move it one space to the left. So this should be equal to this. Well, let's double check this. 2.98 times 10 to the 3rd looks like this. And 2.98 or 0.298 times 10 to the 4th looks like this. Those numbers look the same to me, don't they to you? And then we're going to keep this one at 3.64 times 10 to the 4th minus this one here. So our exponents are the same, so we're going to take this number and subtract this number, remembering that we have to keep our decimals lined up. Well, this has 3 digits after the decimal. This one only had 2. We can go ahead and put a 0 here for purposes of subtraction, because I can't take 8 away from nothing. So I'm going to borrow here. 10 minus 8 is 2. Can't take 9 away from 3. Borrow here. 13 minus 9 is 4. 5 minus 2 is 3. 3.342 times 10 to the what? Times 10 to the 4th. And since this number is greater than 1 and less than 10, this is written in scientific notation, and this is your final answer. Now, I made up a page of just a few extra problems, so I'm just going to hold these on here. So you have these problems to do if you have time at the end of class. I'd like you to rewrite these as a decimal. You can have the subposit there. And if you have time, I'd like you to write these as a fraction and simplify. There's 4 of them. Then I'd like you to find the square root of 90 is between which 2 whole numbers. We did an example like this already. And lastly, you're going to add these 2 numbers written in scientific notation. So that should keep you busy for the entire period. And don't forget, again, this is your homework tonight. you're going to complete this chart starting with 1 squared